Well, with more on Ry Sinclair and the legacy he leaves behind, we're now joined by Ry Moran, these days with the University of Victoria, but he was also the founding director of the National Centre for Truth and Reconciliation. Ry, good to see you again despite circumstances. Thank you for joining us.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Listen, first, my condolences, because you knew Ry Sinclair. You worked with him so closely. It had me wondering about how you're feeling today.
Yeah, it's one of those days. To tell you the honest truth, I think my feelings are growing throughout the day. I woke up, I saw the news immediately. Obviously, I was very sad. We kind of knew that this was coming. We didn't, of course, know when. But as the day has progressed, I've probably in some ways become progressively sadder in some ways because I've been talking to a lot of friends, hearing from a lot of people across the country. I hear in them both their love, their deep admiration for the man that we're remembering today, but also the profound sense of loss that they're feeling and really that the country as a whole is feeling.
Mm-hmm. Well, he was a tireless fighter in life, and his work with the TRC undoubtedly changed this country forever. But, you know, in chairing the commission, he had to listen to so many stories from survivors about the abuse they witnessed and suffered as children in residential schools. What did he say to you about the challenge of doing that work?
You know, this is something I've reflected on quite a bit because I was with the commission as well. I mean, we traveled the country together. We had this kind of collective experience of, in a way, trauma, I think, that we all went through at the TRC. And in some ways, we talked a little bit about it. We knew that this was a dimension and a dynamic of the work. And in other ways, I think we all suffered in our own degree of silence as we went through the commission's work. And I think Ry, to a degree, suffered with his own silence. And I think this is something that's in his book as well, where he talks about, you know, not having cried because he was concerned that if he started crying, he just wouldn't stop. And I think that revelation, that the profound grief that we heard through the commission, the profound grief and sorrow that he heard about people like himself, like his family, like his loved ones, was something that he not only endured, but then with so much grace, with so much wisdom, and with so much fortitude, then took all of that and converted it and changed it into the most powerful message of hope, of determination, of aspiration to help this country be the country that it truly should be. And that's a country based on justice, fairness, respect for human rights. And in that, we have such a profound debt of gratitude to Ry for his gifts in that regard.
Mm-hmm. Still, though, you know, I wonder what he would have thought of where we are today, because, as you know, 94 calls to action in the TRC's final report in the recommendations. Very few have been fulfilled after these many years. I think the actual number is 11 have been fulfilled of the 94, 39 being worked on. Do you know if Ry Sinclair was happy with that, or was there a sense of disappointment?
I think when we go back in time and we look at Ry's very clear statements on priority calls to action coming out of the TRC, it is clear to state that we have not succeeded on a number of those priority calls to action. So one of which was the National Council on Reconciliation, but others were important as well. The new Royal Proclamation, the Covenant on Reconciliation, these were things that were intended to fundamentally reconfigure our commitment to one another as Indigenous and non-Indigenous peoples in society. And those were huge priorities for the Commission at the time of the release of the reports and in the years to follow. We haven't seen a lot of movement on those. So I think, you know, now at times like this, it really demands that we not let this amazing opportunity slip through our fingers. And this opportunity is one of listening to residential school survivors, of heeding their calls for action, heeding their calls for change in this country that were so beautifully articulated by the TRC and so eloquently expressed by Ry. And we can't let this opportunity pass. And I know that is absolutely what Ry would be thinking about right now. He would be telling us right now, okay, mourn, feel bad, but now get to work and keep going and do the work that we've asked you to do.
And that is to you and other leaders, but I wonder if you might distill that a bit more, because Canadians right now, they're reeling with this news. Unexpected for many. Many did not know that his health had deteriorated in these last few months. How do you think Canadians might remember and honor Murray Sinclair best?
I think one of the best ways to honor Murray Sinclair is to keep the relationship between perhaps the past, the present, and the future in mind. So for those that haven't had the opportunity to spend time listening to Murray Sinclair, please do so. Read his book, listen to his speeches, listen to the literally thousands of hours of content that's online. Spend some time getting to know this incredible Canadian leader, this incredible gift to this country that we've been so fortunate to have within our midst. Listen to the words that he shared, because I have full confidence that people will be profoundly moved and inspired by those words. Murray has been an exceptional leader. Now, and on the forward-looking side of things, well, then we are all responsible for the implementation of the TRC's calls to action, and we're all responsible for reconciliation. We're all responsible for the establishment and maintenance of mutually respectful relationships. And this is work that we've been called upon to do as individual Canadians, part of this grand family that makes up this country. So you may be a newcomer to this country, you may have been here for many generations, you may be Indigenous, you may be not Indigenous, but this work of truth-telling, understanding what the human rights record of this country is, and then making the change that's essential and necessary is the work that still lay ahead of us. And that's the work that we all need to be doing, and frankly, that we're all going to have to shoulder a little bit more, because we don't have Murray there to carry the immense load of this work that he has been shouldering on behalf of all of us for many, many years.
Do you think that will change your own life?
What I know for certainty is that my life has been profoundly changed for the better since I've come into contact with Murray Sinclair. And that's leaving my professional life and my job out of it. I've become a better human being, I hope, and I believe at least, or at least I have the aspiration of being the best human being that I possibly can be, thanks to so many of the teachings that I've received from Murray. It's that spending time with him and spending time listening to him has been a gift that I would wish on every single person in this country. And that's where I do really believe that the more time you spend listening to his very wise words will only serve individuals, serve this country to the positive.
Ry Moran, again, I'm so sorry for your loss, but really appreciate the time this evening.
Yeah, thanks very much. And my best, deepest condolences to the family and to everybody else who's hurting today.